Hello and welcome to episode 224 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Dex and Punk here for you this week to talk you through everything Sheffield Wednesday. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Do you know what day it is as well? At the time of recording this, it's the 27th of June. Today, payday for the players.
Oh, God. Which means basically today is the day if we find out if players can walk.
Yeah. It'll either be they get paid today or they get paid again like you tried to do last time. We'll pay you Monday.
This is just bad, isn't it? Before we do all of this, Jake, how's your week been?
I'm very tired. My F&D is not letting me sleep at the minute, so I'm very, very tired. And we just had a conversation before we started, and I appreciate it, by the way, mate. It's just
that's all right.
One of those things where everything at the minute in the world of football is not very fun. I've been watching some of the FIFA Club World Cup. Some of that's been really good. Like,
I've not watched much of it, to
good.
be fair. I'm going to watch it now. It's at the knockouts.
Yeah, it's free on that dance system.
Yeah, I watched the opening. To be honest, I was actually openly optimistic about it, and then I watched Bayern put 10 past that Auckland side, and I was like, nah, I'll watch it again in the round of 16 because this just feels like pre-season.
To be fair, you might as well watch it. It's the only bit of pre-season football you're going to see.
Yeah, I know.
But everything's good. It's just that I'm planning like summer holiday stuff because kids break up soon, and that's all going to be fun. I've got people around this weekend, which will be a good laugh as well. But apart from that, not much.
You have friends?
I have friends. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. You and Jack don't count my two only friends. I tell it. Sorry. But yeah,
I wouldn't even say. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't even class.
We're gonna say you wouldn't even class Jack as
colleagues
more than acquaintance.
We're all colleagues now.
But yeah,
sorry, carry on, mate.
It's been a busy week. Channel's been stupid. Something popped up on my channel the other day, which made me a bit scared. 4,500 uploads on the channel.
Yeah, that's a bit crazy.
Which is ridiculous. But everything's going good. It just, I want a little bit of positivity from Wednesday, and I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. How's your week been?
My week's been very busy, actually. And I've not said that in a while. I've not said my catchphrase in a while. So me and Soph, we've done a 7-year stretch now. Prison sentences can be less, for her, obviously. So we went out for a lovely meal last night. I've got hiccups off a cup of tea somehow. But yeah, we went out to a really nice pizzeria. We've actually just found a really, really good Italian pizzeria in Durham. So
nice.
That's decent. We also had a look at this week. I've been looking at lots of different things. I've been doing bits of work, but potentially expanding into other areas. We will see. And I've been playing a bit of Persona, which is always the thing of a bit like, oh, that's a bit weeby, that, isn't it? But yeah. I've really got into turn-based. Like, I think it started with Baldur's Gate, and then Claire Obscure really got me into that. So I was like, do you know what? Let's just try Metaphor. I enjoyed Metaphor. I'd tried Persona before, and I was like, this is too weeby. I'm not playing it. But there's something about the turn-based that's just flicked in my brain now that this time I'm vibing with it. And if I think about it, I've always liked Pokemon, man. So I don't know why I wouldn't.
You're gonna end up with you're gonna end up with some weird Asian body pillow, aren't you?
No, we're not going that route. Okay? We are experiencing the game for the game. We're not going down that route.
So you're not gonna be buying lots of little figurines and stuff.
No, I'm not for that. No. Like it has to be up there with like Fallout, Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Sort of Baldur's Gate did rank in there because it's just ridiculously good. Pokemon, that sort of level of, it has to be at that level for me to be that nerdy about it. But yeah, we don't really have space, mate. I've not been buying that much. I've been buying the cardboard, and making this series out of the cardboard. But in terms of, I've been filming a bit of that. I've been doing work bits, sort of thing. But yeah, I had an actual really busy week, busier than usual, which is obviously very busy given that's my catchphrase. But I'll be honest, this Sheffield Wednesday stuff is growing increasingly concerning, Jake. So I feel like we do need to get into it because every episode's like a therapy session at the minute.
And last week just hit different in terms of, or this week, or whenever you're watching it. This week,
I think I'll put it out Saturday. So this will go out Saturday. We might put this first clip out today, the day of recording this, as a preview. But
so this week just went mental. It's weird as well. You notice how all the news suddenly have been going from normally early morning, then it started going like late afternoon, early evening.
I had a work afternoon, and that statement that came out literally 5 minutes before I was due to leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks. Great. Good. I can't do a video. I can't do anything like a deep dive on this, which it needed really, but that's what we've got the podcast for today. So, okay, we'll go into the news. So this is the news that is basically pivotal in Sheffield Wednesday's future, and it's the new statement from the chairman. This is from the Wednesday website. It reads as follows. Club update from the chairman. Given the ongoing speculation regarding the potential sale of Sheffield Wednesday, the chairman would like to provide clarity on the situation of the American consortium linked with buying the club. You will be aware that an initial offer from the consortium based in Florida, together with one member from the UK, was declined. A second offer was made, which was also declined. However, I was willing to negotiate to accelerate the process, and despite my best intentions to conclude a deal, it has been unable to move forward at this moment for reasons I will explain. A USA representative of the consortium gave a media interview earlier this month, and since then, incorrect figures were reported at the recent fans forum and in a separate media interview from the UK member of the consortium. I would like to clarify the inaccuracies about these bids. To avoid any misunderstanding, the first offer was submitted in US dollars and the second in UK pounds. The first offer was $40 million plus limited future payments based upon promotion to the Premier League, not $65 million as was said at the forum. The second offer was £40 million plus limited future Premier League promotion payments. Far from a guaranteed $75 million, which was reported in a second media interview. I had been contacted previously on a regular basis by another person who was supposedly representing the consortium and who was trying to negotiate after the first two offers were declined. I said this must go through the club, but when there was a danger I could not resolve the payroll situation, I said, okay, if they have serious intentions and wish to work in a professional way, please pass on to the UK member of the consortium who you are in contact with that I will listen further and I am prepared to negotiate. The last thing I wanted to do was cause issues for our people. So I said I was happy to talk with the condition of a deposit of $5 million as a down payment for the club in advance because I was yet to see any proof of funds. The supposed representative said the consortium wished to speak to me directly in Thailand, so I said fine, if the deposit was made in advance. I was told that one member of the consortium had agreed to this, but then I was informed that there was a disagreement with other members and they would not pay a deposit unless I agreed an overall price for the club in advance of the meeting in Thailand. I would not normally agree to such a proposal without negotiating face-to-face, but because I did not wish to let anyone down, I wanted to finish, I agreed, and the price was agreed. In return, a period of exclusivity would be given. I also said if you cannot pay the full deposit now, pay 50% and the balance later. This would be returned if a deal could not be reached. I was told they agreed to the transfer and the deposit immediately to help meet payroll and avoid EFL charges and sanctions. One member of the consortium banks in the UK. It is a straightforward transaction, but despite assurances, the money did not arrive. The following week, I was told the money would have to be transferred from overseas. Despite this, still no money arrived. After this, the UK representative of the consortium pushed for a further meeting, which I declined, but he persisted in pushing to meet, so I reluctantly agreed due to my desire to accelerate the process, even though I had reservations. A date was set for a Zoom meeting, but unfortunately, after a waiting time of 45 minutes, they did not attend. I can assure everyone that I did everything possible to try and complete a deal, but I was left to think, if this is how the consortium are at this stage, how can I be sure they are the right people to look after the club? I take full responsibility for being unable to fulfill my current obligations. But a further obligation I have is to ensure that if the club is sold, it is sold to the right people with the right credentials who can sustain Sheffield Wednesday and take the club forward. I understand our fans are not happy and wish for me to sell, which some have said when contacting me directly. All I ask is please do not believe everything you read in the media or on social media. I repeat that I am willing to sell, but the deal must be correct on all fronts. It is not just about the price. I have been seriously engaging in looking for investment from new parties and continue to do so to quickly remedy this situation. I also understand the frustrations of everyone at this difficult time. I can only apologise to our people once again and assure you all that I am doing everything I can every minute of every day to ensure the situation is resolved in the best way possible now and for the future.
Yeah.
I'll breathe, Jake. Go.
So I've got the thing is where everything being said, like I also want to say the whole in US dollars and UK pounds, I was the one that mentioned about is it in pounds or is it in dollars. So it's interesting that got pulled up because we did the conversions as well. And if you do the conversion, it's still not a lot of money. If they were offering 40 million, they were giving him what he got the club for when he bought it originally, pretty much. The thing is, the problem is with statements like this, you get an idea with what's going on, but then you've got the whole thing, how much do people believe it? Because we've had statements like this before, and then it comes out that something else isn't right. Like, I've seen a lot of people say it was 5 million to talk to him. Yes, it was 5 million to talk to him, but he's done the 5 million because they haven't shown any proof of funds. Surely
also, I think what's worth stating here, if this is true, and I've got to say an if there because you can't, you can never know
if any of it's true.
But if that is true, contractually, there'll be a contract for that 5 million, right? Yeah. And if Chansiri doesn't fulfill, then he's in breach of another contract. So it's not like it's just a 5 million donation. A lot of people
would
have assurances.
Have read it at 5 million just to talk to him.
No,
but
it wouldn't be that.
If you actually look at it, it's more of a 5 million. And the thing is, if you are interested and you said you're going to say they put 40 million and then the 65 million or whatever it was, what they said it was, surely you would be showing proof of funds then as well.
Yeah.
To go, here's the money. So the fact that they haven't. But the problem you've got with this is he shouldn't be asking someone else to pay the wages that he hasn't got.
Yeah.
That's the bit that kind of annoys me a little bit. It's your job to pay the wages. You shouldn't be relying on someone else to give you the money to get the wages in.
Yeah, it's basically a case of he's reluctantly got to sell. So you cover the bills. That way the club won't be sanctioned, and then the club you're buying is not got sanctioned. So he's kind of like, in a weird way, saying, oh, it's their fault.
Yeah. Well,
it's
like me saying, I'm going to buy your house, right? But then you coming back to me saying, until this payment's done, can you pay my electric and council bill while you're trying to get it sorted?
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of what he's saying. And the thing is, the problem is, like, as much as we said in the past, less statement from DC, this is the time where you want a statement from him. It's been 2 months since we've heard from him. And this is the first thing we hear. Like, properly hear. And yes, I understand that people saying don't have the social media or don't have the media, but the media can only put things out that they get. Because if they put something out wrong, they get sued. That's the other thing.
I don't trust this consortium, Jake.
No. It's that whole thing. I didn't trust it when they started doing interviews. If a big gonna happen, it's gonna be happening.
I liked that one interview on Radio Sheffield, and I still stand by the fact that, like, if they can run it in the short term, even for like a couple of years, then it's better than what we've currently got.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it does seem to be, if this is any truth, if there's any truth in this, which again is a hard sell at the minute because of the situation we're in with Chansiri, this isn't good. This is this is a consortium that can't agree amongst themselves on how to move forward, which would suggest that this is going to be shoestringed, and what are they going to be like when they get in the club?
Yeah.
You know? So for me, this kind of says that it's not ideal. Neither of these options are ideal.
No.
The way I want to sort of take this statement is, I hope there's truth in the fact that he now knows that every fan wants him to sell, and he's going to sell, and he's going to look to sell. And this statement acts as a come and buy Sheffield Wednesday.
See, people are hitting on the like investment from new parties, going, oh, does that mean he's wanting to stay and then get more money in? But that could also mean investment mean come and just sell it off me at the same time.
But it also could mean like sponsorships for this season that would be upfront or something just to cover the current things we can't cover. It's very obvious that he can't meet his obligations, right?
Yeah.
And we know how prideful a man he is. So this situation will be battering his pride, but also he's thrown his toys out of the pram at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not ideal in any sense. I think
he got today and the weekend to get money, because it's Monday when they get paid. God just looked it up. It's Monday when the players get paid. Now, there are players apparently that still aren't paid. There's still people who still don't have May wages apparently. The problem you've got going into this is when he comes out with these things and statements and stuff, and we'll get on to what Milan said earlier, but it makes everything really difficult to go forward because you're still in limbo. There's no real underlining this is happening, or I'm actively looking. Like, seriously engaged in looking for investment, is that actively looking and not waiting for people to come to you? Are you actually going to people? Because it seems like you've already gone to people and people have said no.
And I think he's probably it's very obvious that he's a difficult man to deal with, but...
Oh, everyone said that.
Yeah. We need to take from this that hopefully this is a beacon of come and actually give us a proper offer for Sheffield Wednesday. And the problem he's got is the value of Sheffield Wednesday will rapidly decline because of the sanctions. Like, if you look at this, the first year at least is going to be a money pit.
Yeah. Wednesday
are going to be in debt and they're going to be in trouble, right? And like any owner that comes in, we're not just going to be able to spend. It's going to be a balance in the books job for the first year and a bit.
To be fair, with what's going on with Wednesday, probably even if there wasn't the issues that we got, probably would be the best thing to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm worried what happens, and eventually when the EFL starts to punish us, because we know what happens, like, we're already going to struggle to stay up. I think we're relegated before the season starts.
Yeah, I think we're
even if we've got, but it's a case of like, if they start putting points deductions and stuff in, God, like, it's like, I genuinely don't know what I'd do with this podcast for a year, because I don't know if I could face talking about it every week. it might have become a 2-week thing, Jake, because like watching your club like burn in real time is very difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what this man is doing to Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm disappointed that there was one member of that consortium that spoke really, really well on Radio Sheffield that time. But I'm disappointed that this has not been able to move a little bit quicker. I don't think it's helping that the messaging around this consortium is so mixed and so varied already that like, there's no consistency. There's no consistency with our current owner. We don't want to go into a situation where there's more inconsistency. And I am very much at a point of pretty much anyone would be better than Chansiri.
Yep.
They only had to do the simple things right. Put a deposit down, get a contract. Right?
Yep.
With the man Chansiri. You put your money there, and if you can't work out a deal, sort of thing, you have then got a contractual deposit that he said will be refundable to get back. And if he doesn't give you your money back, you go after him.
Yeah. And then if you went after him and he hasn't given you money back, that's where you can bring in the whole situation of bringing in someone to potentially come and like admin it. You owe debts of this to get it gone.
Sheffield Wednesday, the gift that keeps on giving.
So if video watchers looked like I was a little bit preoccupied, then I was just moving the document around so it made more sense.
Yeah, you've just broken my brain. I was like, that wasn't there a second ago. Where am I starting this next article from now, Jake? There. There we are. Thank you. Right. Okay, the next story links very much to the interest in Sheffield Wednesday. Now, this has developed a lot in the past 24 hours, but let's start from the beginning, discuss the topic. And that is this from the Star, I believe it is?
This is from the Star, yes.
Yes. John Textor seeks, quote, construction project amid Sheffield Wednesday interest. Billionaire businessman John Textor is believed to have shown an interest in buying Sheffield Wednesday, and they're a club that line up with his hopes for a construction project. As reported on Monday night, the Star understands that Textor is looking for immediate reinvestment into English football, most likely the Championship, after selling his stake in Crystal Palace, and that Wednesday are one of a handful of clubs being considered. The American is the owner of Eagle Football Group, whose stable includes Brazilian side Botafogo, Belgian outfit Daring Brussels, formerly RWD Molenbeek, as well as French giants Lyon and Youth Project FC Florida. Worth mentioning that a couple of them, I believe, are Club World Cup sides, so money going into them at the minute. He's explained since selling his Palace stake, which was 43%, that he was disappointed in the lack of collaboration with the group, whereas in Wednesday's case, with a transfer embargo and a 3-window fee restriction, there will be a huge scope for potential loan moves from his various other clubs. Speaking to The Athletic recently, Textor explained, quote, I believe Eagle is probably known to be the most collaborative multi-club in terms of player movements between the clubs. We have something called roster optimization, where we are looking at what each player needs and wants, and what each club needs and wants, and then we fill in the gaps in our squads. Collaboration helped us, Lyon, bounce off the relegation zone at mid-season, right in the Europa League, and now in our second season in the Europa League. That comes from collaboration. It has helped us go from second division to champions of South America with Botafogo, and collaboration is just how we beat PSG. That was in the Club World Cup, if you didn't see.
Yep.
It has disappointed me that our English League partner, Palace, has chosen not to accept any of our obviously qualified players from top teams, top leagues, and top national teams. And so to really promise player pathways to the players that we have in different parts of the world, we have to have a collaborative UK partner. It's a must. It is our promise to the athletes. It is our promise to the community. That collaboration needs to go two ways, and it doesn't currently with Crystal Palace. That's the reason we chose to sell. We're turnaround guys. We like a construction project. There's nothing more exciting to me than the idea of buying a second division team and getting promoted. But we might also look in the Premier League if we think there's real opportunity to catapult a team from mid-table to upper table. We think we're capable of doing that. Our strategy for Palace was to get to the Europa League every year, not just a one-off cup win every 100 years. Whether Textor actually makes a move and to try and buy the Owls from Desh from Chansiri remains to be seen at this stage, and actually agreeing terms, if he does, is another challenge. But his comments to The Athletic certainly suggest that Wednesday are a project that fits the bill in terms of what he's looking for. So there's interest there. This is also a Simon Jordan link, Jake, because Simon Jordan's mates with him and has been pushing for, hey, buy Sheffield Wednesday with that because it was something like, I think he made over £400 million from the sale of his shares in Crystal Palace.
It was 190.
Oh, was it 100?
Yeah, 190.
Oh, yeah, I must have been looking in dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, it was. Because I was looking at the valuation of Palace based off that.
There you go. Yeah, it was 190 million. Now, the thing for me is with us being in a free window fee restriction, you could do the whole Watford Udinese thing, players swap from players to club without any fee.
Yes.
Would be helpful. But again, I don't like that myself when other teams do it. But if you, that would be what you had to do, that was what you would have to do. But going into this, you look at the stuff that he's done with Leon and Boateng. Like, Boateng still owe Burnley money for a transfer. They haven't paid them yet. You've got Leon have got debts, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I'll be honest with you, when the name first popped up, it made a lot of sense. Then you do digging into his other clubs and what's going on. And then you go, are we going into Chansiri 2.0 here?
I don't think we are necessarily, because, and I'm going to present the other side of this.
He had got the money.
I think this is a better situation than Chansiri, purely because of the track record. Yes, it's not perfect, but let's just read this FT article. So it's from FT.com. This US businessman John.
Through it as well, because there's a big paragraph where there's a load of words.
Yeah, that's fine. US businessman John Textor has been threatened with legal action by 3 investors who's backed his takeover of Lyon after the French club was demoted from the top division because of its financial troubles. So this was this week. In March, Lyon reported a net loss of 117 million euros in the first half of the financial year, and outstanding debt, excluding money owed on player transfers, of 445 million euros. Textor bought Lyon in 2022 at a valuation of almost 900 million euros, including debt. It was the biggest takeover in French football history. The original purchase was funded by more than 400 million euros of financing, mostly provided by US investment firm Iris Management, and $75 million in equity from Iconic Sports Management, the investment vehicle of 3 investors led by Dinian, founder of York Capital Management and the co-owner of Milwaukee Bucks NBA franchise. The contribution from Dinan, Nasta and Isla was part of an agreement to merge Eagle Football with a special acquisition company owned by Iconic. Dinian and Nasta became board members. This is all just about the board. Nasta and Isla claim Textor owes them $93.6 million, consisting of the original $75 million plus interest. Iconic declined to comment. Textor said, Iconic have failed to comply with their obligations, including their competitive failure to deliver a viable SPAC or space, or I think that's something businessy. Yeah, it's a typo or it's a business acronym, which was the basis for their involvement in the first place. They simply are not entitled to the contractual benefits they now claim. Earlier this week, Textor agreed to sell his stake in Crystal Palace. We've just talked about that. The sale will raise about $200 million, some of which has been earmarked to help reduce Lyon's debts. Right. Can I just say that when this sanction occurred, for Lyon, the relegation,
yes,
and this is why I'm not ultimately too worried. I believe, I might be getting my figures slightly wrong here, but from everything I've read and watched, Lyon were already in an absolute ton of debt when the club was bought.
I think when he bought them, they were it's either 400 million or 500
I've heard 400 million.
Debt, and I think he's taken it down to 200 million.
Yes. Which means you can't pin all this debt on them, on Textor, because he's took it over, and it's a case of what I'm seeing there is he's shrunk the debt there, but also they threatened the middle of this season. The French league went, "We're going to relegate you if you don't sort your finances out." What did Lyon do at the end of the season? The first moment and chance they got to try and fix this. You what? Sorry,
they sold one of their star players to City.
Sold 2 players. Yeah. They sold, and Cherky's one of the big ones. They offset the money. By the time they were sanctioned by the, I'm used to saying the EFL because we've been sanctioned by it so many times. By the time they were sanctioned by the French league, they didn't have a chat because debt. You can't just put the money into it, and it's sort of like you have to do it with profit and sustainability and all of that thing. Even in the other leagues, the only time they had to offset that was the end of the season. So of course they're appealing. There's talks about appealing. They've sold it. They've sold it there. It's a very, I think it's very harsh the way they've thrown the book at Lyon.
But at the same time, you also look at what's going on with his Brazilian side. They're about to have face disciplinary over unpaid transfer fees.
Yeah, that's a bit more sketchy. It is. It's true.
It's that whole thing because much as and the worry I have when you have someone you've got multi-club teams is if one of those multi-club teams is doing better than the rest, all their egg go into that one. Then they don't. My
thought process about this, though, Jake, is English football is a lot more profitable when you get it right.
Oh, it 100% is. But if he did get us up and say we did go into another situation like Palace, would he have to have another situation like Palace where he has to sell it because UEFA don't? But
that's the thing. He seems willing to sell in this situation and take on another project. Chansiri didn't and doesn't. Yeah. You know, like this is what he's sold his shares in Palace. And I've looked at what the Palace fans have said about him, and they mainly don't like the fact that he pushes this multi-group ownership stuff so much, right? Because, we don't want to be that. We want to be our own right sort of thing. We don't need the players from this. We don't want to be just part of this chain. At Sheffield, when it's this current state, in the Championship, being part of a multi-club ownership would be fantastic at doing things on the cheap and repairing the club.
Yeah, I agree.
And yes, there's worries at the higher level. But if we get to the stage where Wednesday are pushing for Europe in the Premier League, I'll have a reassessment at that point,
make sure we
Jake.
get out leave one third.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have a reassessment at that point. Because at the minute, this, even with the concerns around him at that level, I don't blame Lyon's finances completely on him. You can't if you look at it and you look at what's happened. Yes, there might have been bad decisions made there, but it looks like they're not paying the wages.
Well,
they're not paying the players.
He's not short of a bit of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got the feels in general football. Like, we got to remember, Chansiri came in and didn't know anything about football. This is a team and an organisation that's got all of this. There might be all of this going on, but he throws the money into Wednesday. It's probably going to be pocket change for him to keep Wednesday running. If we look at the scale up and give us a couple of the people in Lyon's academy sort of thing, like I think they've got a good grounds for appeal, Lyon, because of the way, how else are you meant to raise funds, Jake, and get out of debt? You sell your star players, and they've done it.
The thing is, there's been this kind of thing where people have been saying it's Chansiri wanting to stay, right? Could someone like a John Textor do a deal where it's like, right, I will sell you the club, but if you're wanting to stay, you're on the board, but you have no say, no nothing, and whatever we make, we give you a dividend.
God, no, that's actually.
I don't want
terrible.
that idea. I don't want that idea. I think we need a complete fresh start. But if he goes, the only way I'm selling is if I get some sort of, like, I get to stay. Because for whatever reason, he reluctantly doesn't want to sell, but knows he got to sell now. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you look at what's going on. I have a funny feeling Lyon will win their appeal because I think they're going to do what, ironically, Troy did last season. Remember, Troy, they got relegated to the semi-professional league, and that's why Upbo deal took so long.
Yeah.
And then they got reinstated. And I think that's because Bordeaux went bust, if I remember correctly. You've got to look at what's going on in French football. They are trying to get their house in order because big clubs keep going bust and they're realizing they can't keep having these lot of big fees paid for players. Now, the problem we got, we're going to have to watch the Lyon situation quite carefully now because it might change what happens with Wednesday if he does put a bid in or has a look.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, Jake, like, given the state of Sheffield Wednesday, like, we need saving now, right? The future is the future. Like, this for me isn't out of the frying pan and into the fryer. This might be like out of the frying pan and into the boiling pot, right? That's eventually going to boil. Yeah. Okay. But it's at a very, 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 it's not even got to a gentle simmer yet. If he takes over, we buy time and we build and we see what happens. And then there's nothing stopping. Wednesday that are looking up with this American investment, he diverts his shares. What's the word? Whatever. It dissolves his shares a little bit, okay? It dilutes, that's the word, and brings other people in. And it becomes more of a thing as Wednesday rise.
Yeah.
And there's just so much more potential here than Chansiri's got, in my opinion. So, especially because the other clubs are actually a benefit because Wednesday can literally do things with a transfer restriction.
Yeah. What I'd say, keep an eye on the legal threat as well, because that suddenly starts going up everything. You kind of want everything to go well, but at the same time, whoa, what's this? No, I thought that come through. Yeah, no, fine. I just saw something saying John Textor might renege on his deal to sell his shares at Palace, but I don't think he can do that.
No. Oh, well.
It is Dan Plumley, who is the financial expert, because the deal is not yet signed off by the Premier League. So if it's not yet signed off, he could potentially pull out of that deal and go, I'm not selling.
Jake, I'm so fed up. Let us know what you think about Textor. Would he be a good move, or is it out of the frying pan and into the fryer? Fire? My brain is not working today. It's early morning. Leave me alone. Right. Rob Staten has tweeted, we spoke about the former owner Milan Mandaric talking about coming back to broker a deal with Chansiri. This is the following statement from Mandaric that Rob Staten has put out. So this is Rob Staten typing. Further to my radio interview last week, I have now had the opportunity to speak with both my advisors. This is actually a statement from Mandaric. I thought for some reason it was Rob starting it. Further to my radio interview last week, I have now had an opportunity to speak with both my advisors and close family in respect of how I might be able to assist Sheffield Wednesday at this difficult time. I had hoped to meet Mr. Chansiri in London during my short trip. However, unfortunately, after contacting him, he confirmed that he would not be in the UK at the time of my visit. Whilst, like all Sheffield Wednesday supporters, I am, of course, very concerned about the current situation the club finds itself in. However, on reflection, I feel I would not be in the best interest of finding the long-term solution we all want for me to explore further my heartfelt desire to assist at this crucial time for the club. I have several projects I'm currently working on outside the UK, and I do not believe I could devote the time it would take to return to the club to a healthy condition I left it in a decade ago when Mr. Chansiri took ownership from me. It carries on. My understanding is that there are several interesting parties who would like to discuss a potential purchase of the club. At such an important time, I would not want my involvement to either slow down or hinder these discussions. I will continue to follow Sheffield Wednesday's fortunes closely, and of course, I would previously, as offered, be very happy to assist Mr. Chansiri or indeed any new owner of the club if requested. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than seeing our team competing for promotion again in the coming seasons. I would like to thank all those who have contacted in the last few days for their incredibly kind comments. Sheffield Wednesday and its supporters remain as special to me today as when I left in 2015. Given the above, I will not be making any further public comments at this time in respect of the club's situation. Well, Mandaric, my friend, you will indeed be watching Wednesday try and get promoted, but it's unfortunately going to be out of League One. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on this, Jake?
I think it's a case of he's actually looked at it properly, done a little bit less of going with heart and gone with head, and just realistically gone, I'm probably not going to be able to do this at 86 and try and put something together. It also makes me wonder, he's been told by potentially Chansiri or someone else that there's other people interested, and again, doesn't want to get in the way.
He said multiple as well. I reckon there's stuff that's not been made public. I'm actually my gut's telling me there is.
There's a lot of things that haven't been made public. But that's the thing. If there's a takeover or if there's anything like that, it's not going to be played out in the public eye. That's where the Florida Consortium kind of not annoyed me as such, but made me just question it.
Can you imagine if our club was run how this Florida Consortium have established themselves? Like, it would be very bizarre.
Yeah, but
random Twitter videos, random tweets.
But saying that, with the club that we find out are signing when the son follows them on Instagram, it's already run like that.
That's true.
It's already run like a way that's not run great. Like, whenever, right, for the last 10 years, people have been looking at a kid's Instagram page, checking which player he's following to find out if we signed him.
Yeah. And I only think that became a thing because he realised it became a thing, so he kept doing it.
Yeah, I agree, but let's not beat around the bush here. We're already ran in a way that's not great, so us going from one show to another isn't going to be a surprise to us.
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate Mandaric trying to do something here, but I thought at his age it's going to be very difficult for him to actually. When he gave his first statement, I didn't think he'd be actually involved in the deal at all. To be honest, I thought he'd just try and broker a deal and help like put the parties in touch, sort of thing. Given somebody that he was, Chansiri respects him.
You know what's really bad right now, right? We should be talking about, what our kit looks like, or our pre-season, or what players we're getting in. No, we can't do that because everything's run like it's being run.
Mate, we're looking at pictures of which players have turned up.
Yeah. Just FYI, that training gear does look very good.
No, it doesn't. I don't get this thing with training gear. Like, I guess it's subjective, but like all training gear tends to look the same. It's just a shirt with the badge on with some weird stripy pattern. That's all it is.
I don't.
Every time. And someone goes, oh, training gear looks good. I don't get it. It looks like just it's V's or W's or whatever it is.
Very simply, training gear is just a polo shirt with a badge on it.
It is.
People like training gear. I don't know what to tell you, mate. People like training gear.
Thanks for trying, Mandaric. The Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust released a statement following Chansiri's statement. This reads, this is the statement. 26 of the 625. So there is finally a statement from Deshvan Chansiri after deafening silence of the past 2 months, yet fans are still left without answers regarding the desperate situation at the club. Instead, we are presented with detailed self-justification about how Mr. Chansiri feels and he has been misrepresented, along with some laughable claims about how he is, quote, looking after the club. The questions he should be answering are these. Is there any real chance that you will sell the club in the immediate future? Do you have funding in place for the season? When will the players be paid for May? Will the staff and players be paid for June? Will the HMRC and the VAT be paid? What is happening with Danny Rohl? What is happening with the coaching staff? What is going on at the training ground? On what grounds are you challenging the charges from the EFL? Can you have fun? Can you fund the works required by the council on the North Stand? Do you personally delay works on the North Stand past the point of no return for this season? What is happening with the club's kit and merchandising deals? We want to send a message directly to Deshron Chansiri. You are the one killing the joy of supporting a football club for tens of thousands of people. Spend some time today responding to the real questions fans are asking. Stop blaming others and take responsibility. You are killing the club, not saving it. Just sell the trust. Quite damning, that one, isn't it?
Yep.
Can't disagree with much of it, to be honest.
Nope.
I think it's a good response. I think it's a case of, yeah, that's just a case of Chansiri does try and deflect, and it's a good response there. I don't really need to go into too much more.
No.
Trust holding firm. I think the fan base as a whole does need to hold firm. Now we have to talk about the potential situation with our manager, Jake. So, it's literally one thing after another, isn't it? So, from what everybody understands, the media, us, it looks like Danny Rohl is digging in his heels.
Let's put it this way. He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, and he's not returned.
No.
For the start of pre-season, he's not returned. And there is talks, apparently, about seeing an exit for Danny Rohl from the club. However, that will be, happening. How those negotiations will happen, we don't know. But it looks like they are exploring an option. And do you think it's about time, Jake, that we sort this out? Obviously.
I think it's time to get it all sorted. You've got a man who obviously doesn't want to be here for whatever reasons. It's been the whole situation. Last season we had it. Is he going to stay here? I think the thing for me, people are going to say, yes, why would he stay here when he signed a 3-year contract? But he signed a 3-year contract. This is how it works. I think he was expecting people to come in and get him. People looked and then they've seen how much the compo is and gone, not touching that. Sorry, Danny, nice bloke, like your idea. You've done well in the interview, but we're not paying that. And the thing is, the whole Danny Rohl thing needs to get sorted. So there's some kind of instant that there's a slight little sense of normality. Just of who the players report to, who's going to do this, who's taking this, done. Because we still got to think. On Monday, the coaching staff are on their last day of work for Wednesday. Their contracts are up on the 30th of June.
And this is the other thing. We might already have a ready-made manager there.
Yep.
In Henrik.
Yep.
Who is wanted by other clubs as their manager.
Yep. And by the sound of this, he was at pre-season training.
Yeah, he turned up. I think he was running this. He was running pre-season. I think there's your man. I can't believe I'm saying this. Do you know what I would do? If we can't negotiate an exit, I think we should negotiate an exit now with Danny Rohl for something like he buys out his contract for £1 million, or somebody buys out his contract for £1 million. Take the 5. I'm sick of it. Or place him on gardening leave and appoint Henrik as manager.
You can't afford it. Gardening leave, you still pay him.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't afford it.
That's true.
The only way it'll work is if he turns around and goes, I quit and resigns. Yeah. Or it's a mutual consideration or whatever they call it, mutual agreement, and he walks away and he found a way to pay himself out. That is the only way. The only thing he can hope for now is that Leicester in a world of mess at the minute, but they just sat Ruud van Nistelrooy say, we're going to take the risk, we'll pay you $5 million. But they're not financially in the position to be able to do that either.
No. I genuinely think like you even just release him and say, look, there's $1 million. The next club that takes you has to pay us $1 million. but you're gone. But that's such a weird deal. I don't think he'd take it, So
the problem is, with the way Chansiri's going at the minute, I could just see him going, right, I'm sticking you outside Middlewall Road with a sign around your neck saying free to go home because I can't get rid of you. While I'm at it, I'm going to put one around me as well and go, I'm free to go
I'm really disappointed in Danny, by the way. I am.
Yeah, I think we all are.
I understand this. I understand the situation. And I also understand the fans that are on the internet saying, oh, well, you wouldn't if you'd not been paid. As far as we're aware, Danny's been paid now.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% on that, but whispers are that Danny's been paid. There's other people that haven't. And it's a case of, why would the players turn up? Barry Bannon is out of contract soon. He's not been paid. And he turns up. Henrik turned up.
Windass, Iorfa, Bailey, Jan Valerie's there today. All of that.
The players turned up, right? Because the players know the club has these supporters. And yes, they might be able to walk and do things legally, but at least they're doing things the proper way, right? Some of them might be like, right, if I don't get paid this month, I can have my notice in, right? Which they can. They can hand the 14 days, 15 days, or whatever it is in football. They can hand that notice in. But they're doing things properly. They've turned up. And Danny hasn't. And I'm really disappointed in the way that's going because it's letting the supporters down. And actually, I'm at a stage now where I kind of want to cut my losses with him and appoint Henrik.
Yeah.
And do you know what's annoying? He gets what he wants from that, Jake. But do you know what's really annoying? If Chansiri had got this club in a position financially, we wouldn't be in this situation because you could chuck Danny on gardening leave if you behave like this.
Yep.
You could chuck if Chansiri was fulfilling his obligations and we were a well-run financial club, you could put Danny on the naughty step. Right?
So on the 14th of June, Yorkshire Live Dom Howson said that, hang on, some members, non-footballing staff for May have now been satisfied. Coaching and backroom staff have also been paid in full for last month.
Yeah. So Danny's been paid. And he's not turning up. So now he's I assume he's breaching contract.
Yeah, he's sackable offence, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can sack anyone for anything in football, but employment rights aren't the same in football, I don't think. But it's just a mess, Jake. And I actually want Henrik. I think I want Henrik to be our manager now because the players seem to respect him.
Right. What I want is continuity. If that means Henrik's staying and you've got the continuity with all the stuff that's going on right now, take it.
Can you? Right. The thing is, though, I think the player respect will still be there.
Yeah. This week, Sal Babbo was linked with a move up to Rangers to be their goalkeeping thing. You might have to bring a new goalkeeping coach. There are people who are turning up here who are Wednesday through and through, or who are there are people who are working who are non-playing staff who turned up and carried on working when they weren't getting paid.
Yeah, those are the ones that are the unsung heroes. Like they've kept the club running. Like the media admins are there and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like the people that have been going through.
It was so funny, and not in a funny heart, but in a funny kind of. The Carabao Cup sponsored post would go up for like a minute, like, yeah, we're not voting that. That's getting deleted.
Yeah,
like,
it's just. I actually quite like the idea of, with all the stuff that's going on, there's a positive in Henrik being number one and Powell being number two.
If Powell stays.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think you can dig something out from that. Because I remember Windass doing that podcast where he was talking about that Danny does a lot of off-the-ball stuff. Henrik does the on-the-ball stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right. Danny's the manager, but Henrik could do it, obviously, because he's got the chops for it. And he's not disrespected the club in this way. I think deep down, even though they understand, I think a lot of the players will have lost respect for the manager in a regard that we have as fans.
Yeah.
That you would, because it's like, hang on, we're rolling this together. Like, what, that talk of togetherness and that fight when we did the Great Escape season, and now we're here and you're not. I don't think that's a leader, Jake.
No.
And actually, I think Danny is harming his stock in that regard.
I think there's a lot of clubs who are looking at him now going, well, if you're not willing to fight for that while you're in contract, why should we hire you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he thought this would go very differently. I think we all probably did.
Yeah.
And there was a point where he would have been worth the £5 million release clause.
100%.
But now I don't think clubs will take the risk given the situation he's been in.
Yeah.
Especially because I think any dressing room he goes into now, they'll be like, are you going to fight for us?
Yeah. It just screams pettiness now because you've not got your way.
Yeah.
And
I understand working for Chansiri must be a nightmare, but all the others.
Yeah, but you can work for Chansiri and do it in a dignified way. Darren Moore did it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think he's probably going to get his way. I think with the financial situation we're in, unfortunately, I think he's going to get out, and we're not going to get much from it, if anything, to be honest. But
and again,
we'll see
will have a go at DC. But to be fair, he did the right thing by putting a release clause on Rohl's head. That is the right thing to do.
The one thing I don't agree with is I will have a go at DC is the fact that I've already stated it in this part is we should be in a financial situation where we can protect our assets like this, and if a manager does behave like this, we can put them on gardening leave, we can sanction them, we can.
QPR did it.
Yeah. And we're not in that situation because of the chairman.
By the way, I love how I put in the document.
I know. I'm going to skip over and come back to that so we can end with it, okay?
Yeah.
Because we've got to talk about some more potentially bad stuff. So there's been a lot of talk about the North Stand, and we kind of skipped over this last week, so we had plenty to talk about. We've got plenty to talk about this week, but let's talk about it. Some people are saying it's condemned. There's been images of parts of the North Stand that are decaying, etc. This is a statement from Councillor Joe Otten, chair of the Environmental Services and Regulatory Policy Committee at Sheffield City Council, who said, quote, the Safety Advisory Group, chaired by Sheffield City Council, met with Sheffield Wednesday Football Club where the North Stand was discussed and actions agreed to ensure spectator safety. As the certifying authority, we carry out our duties in working with organisations to make sure they meet the requirements of the safety certificate that we issue to them. It's vital for all of them to make sure that they provide a safe sports ground, end quote. Sorry, my eyes didn't work then. So the North Stand is looking in disrepair in certain areas, but whether we will just take it as far as we can is the question, Jake. In terms of, will we just put people in there because they've not told us to pull it down or they've not told us to do anything yet? There's not been anything sort of released that we've been told to do certain things. I think there's been advisories on the future of, that's going to come down eventually, etc. But what are your thoughts on the North Stand?
It needed work for ages.
The whole ground has, man.
It's been delayed for a while. We'll see what happens, but again, it does scream as like he's run out of the fund to just keep the basic upkeep. Like we've seen the pitch being laid, we've seen the stuff at the training ground. The training ground isn't finished yet, by the way. By the sounds of that, that's not a money issue. It's just they've run into issues while doing it. Which you look at that and that doesn't scream great. It's these things where as the custodian, he's not looked after everything. He's just done the bare minimum in bits and places. And now the bare minimum's showing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just... it's one thing after another. Like, the infrastructure of the club is clearly just falling to bits, and it's going to show it in our ground, I think. And I don't want to talk about it, Jake, because I'm done. Let's talk about the football. we have got the fixtures for the 25-26 season, if we have enough players to field the bloody season. We're starting at Leicester away. Could it be Danny Rohl's Leicester we face? We will see. All of you interested that will be on Sky, I'm sure, is Wrexham away on the 23rd of August, so that'll be on TV because all of their games will be probably. The first derby is at home on the 22nd of November. The second derby is in February on the 21st of November away. I assume that them dates won't be in ink because they will basically get moved because they always get moved for TV. And yeah, we finish the season away at Oxford. So we start away and end away.
Wait,
no, we don't. I miss May. We finish at home at West Brom.
The big
just that
thing
one
is,
fixture in May.
It's the first time we've had a Boxing Day game at home in a decade.
Oh, yeah. So we play Hull at home on Boxing Day.
Bloody Middlesbrough.
I know. We always seem to play... We're not playing Middlesbrough in December or January, Jake. For the first time in my memory in the Championship.
We feel really weird.
When are we playing Borough? Oh, so we're playing them in October and then we're playing them again in April. Yeah. How far are spread out are the Coventry games? Let's have a look. Coventry 4th of October and then Coventry again 11th of April. Okay.
So when
we get the 3 cup fixtures against them. Yeah.
And we've also got Bolton in the Carabao Cup first round.
Excellent. Let's hope we get to those fixtures, Jake. But I can't do any more today. I think that's enough. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have plenty. We might even end up doing an emergency podcast tonight, Jake. We don't know with this club. You know,
nothing set in stone at the minute.
But have you got anything to say before we end this week's episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast? My eye is twitching from stress now, Jake.
I have a funny feeling every time we do this podcast for a while, it can age up by 10 years each time we do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fan base is in the same way. Look, at the end of the day, we are in a situation at the minute where it is foobarred and it doesn't look like there's an end in sight yet. But he got to relinquish it at some point. And I don't see this being a club that would go away in a sense because I think there's too many people who want the club. But the positive is the way you look at it, people are still interested in the club, whatever the matter is. So let's see what happens. Hopefully a better week next week, but I doubt it.
And a big special shout out to all the players that have turned up who have not been paid. And I really, really hope that the next time we're talking about this, we're talking about the fact that at least the wages have been paid for June. But I am not holding my breath. Take care, guys. And we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.